Hello and welcome. In this video, you'll be looking at the skills that you need to get before age 18. First of all, if you are going to leave home, you do need some life skills, right? You do need to have an education that relate to either skills or trade. I'm particularly talking about things like carpentry or masonry or even electrician or electrical installation or any one of these skills. You need to have some kind of skills. All right, so the two things that I'm going to be mentioning are one, trade and skills, and also college or university. All right, so this is where you would get some education that will equip you for leaving the nest. All right, so when you leave the nest, of course, right, you will need to know the skills to live on your own. And so we're going to be looking at a few of these things. All right, so when it comes on to education, right, you need to be equipped. You need to possibly go to a college to do either associate degree or um, some kind of uh, education there. Of course, when you choose your major, you have to be very careful that you're not just choosing something you love that is not marketable. I'll get into that into a little. But education, college or university. Mark you, I do know that college played a very important role in my life. And it helped me to polish certain skills. It taught me many lessons and it developed my math skills. Marketability. When you go to college and you're choosing your major, it must be marketable. Yes, it must be marketable. Of course, you need to enjoy it and you need to be compatible. That is, you must have the skill and aptitude to do this thing that you have selected. So, if you have no patience, you should not be doing something that require enormous amount of patience. Wisely. And so you have to choose wisely. All right. So we have marketability. This is going to be very, very important when you select a major, a field of study. You need to ask your question, is this marketable in this time and age? Will I be able to get a job in this if I'm skilled and able to do this job well? Am I going to be marketable? The next thing again is going to be, do I enjoy this thing? Do I see myself doing this thing for a number of years, even up to 20 years or more, right? The next thing is, want to see if we are compatible. Do we have the skill and aptitude to do the particular thing that you are going to be doing? You're probably saying, well, that's why I'm going to study. I suggest that you do aptitude tests. Do an aptitude test, fill it out genuinely, right? And then you'll do the analysis at the end. Note, if you're still in high school, do check with your counselor and ask them if they have not already to administer or to help you to give you an aptitude test. And if you are proactive, you can actually go online, find an aptitude test, do it, and get the results. Make sure you analyze those, because that will just narrow down the things that are compatible with you based on your preference, skill, and aptitude at the current moment. Yes, the college will polish that skill, and give you the additional tools that you need to be effective in that particular area or discipline. All right, so the next thing is, how will I finance my education? How will I finance my education? This is the question that you may be asking, right? How do I finance my education? All right, so some people, this is not an issue. Their parents will pay for it, or it's not a big issue. But for the great majority of persons, college may cost a lot, right? Yes, so you might be wondering, how are you gonna pay for this? Well, some persons, their parents will sort this out for them, as I mentioned earlier. Some folks will actually need to take advantage of scholarships, which is not a bad idea, because if you can get some scholarships, then that would be good, right? Of course, to do these, you'll have to have, very decent grades. On a 4.0 scale, you may have 3.0 or above for some of the more generous scholarships. But, a B average, when I say 3.0, I'm talking about on a 4.0 scale, right? And so you want to have good requirements. But um, you should do a research on, scholarships available in your area. You can go online and look for scholarships, as well as your counselor again can also tell you about scholarship. But don't leave it up to them alone. Go ahead and do your own research. Apply for as many scholarships as you can, because sometimes you may even be able to get overpayment when you actually go to the school. You may be even able to get some monies payback, because you have so much monies um, for your education, your tuition for the semester, that you even get an overpayment check. All right, so scholarships, these are very good. Now, when you are seeking scholarships, right, it's not only about the numbers. You must have the substance behind those numbers, those grades. They shouldn't be fake, right? They should be real grades that you understand. Because guess what? When you go to college, and even if you get these scholarships, right, you will not be able to maintain them easily unless you would have earned those grades. You are able to demonstrate your understanding. You have shown your ability to learn, retain, and apply knowledge, right? So if you have shown your ability to learn, retain, and understand and apply knowledge based on your grade point average and the grades that you would have earned, then you will be able to maintain those scholarships. Because fact of the matter is, many of these scholarships, even though they are full rides, meaning that you get them for all 4 years that you're studying your bachelor's degree, these scholarships sometimes have a requirement that you maintain, a certain grade point average while you're doing um, the course of study. And so if your grades are fake, you won't be able to manage. Another thing is, I just mentioned this as well. College is no joke, especially if you're at a reputable school that have some amount of rigor and require you to really understand what you're doing, right? That is the case for most second tier and first tier schools, but there are many schools that are not first tier or second tier that do just fine. They're normally, I'm not going to mention what those are, but you can check them out. You can check them out. All right. So you want to be able to maintain those scholarships so that the 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 finances can keep coming and you can focus on your studies. All right. So now there is another thing. There's another way. No, there's another way that you can secure payments and secure financing. There's another way you can have your college financed, and that is through work and study. This way is also a very good way, because guess what? You are working, you are studying, you are going to put your effort in. You are going to apply yourself. You are going to do just fine because you will get that um, that 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 muscle that your muscles will help you to relax your minds. What do I mean? So when you use your muscles, right, it relaxes your mind. When you use your mind, it relaxes your muscles. So they work hand in hand. So if you're working, especially if you're doing something that require a lot of physical labor, that is even better. That is even better. Um, in my experience, when I was going to school, I used to work at, um, you know, at Sidexo Marriott because it was on the campus. And it was a lot of fun. Fun in the sense that I was able to earn and work and use my monies, direct those funds where they ought to go. All right. And at another point as well, I used to tutor. And this is a common thing. So, how that works at most schools, you will prove yourself, you demonstrate your skill in whatever subject, and then sometimes you may have a tutorial facility on your campus where you can actually um, get a job and tutor students in that particular course that you have demonstrate, a high standing, maybe a B plus, a plus, that kind of thing. So that is one way. Work study, you don't necessarily have to work on campus, but it depends on your jurisdiction, whether you're an international student or this kind of thing, because that comes with its parameters, and that will determine how you would conduct yourself in a particular jurisdiction. All right, so um, these are some ways you can pay for it. Scholarship is definitely really good. You just have to do your diligence. Buckle down from now. If you are in, let's say, the ninth grade, go ahead, do your diligence, and that will pay off, right? So, um, in case you have not been doing well in school, you're making an average of, say, a D or a low C, you can redeem the time so that you can secure some of these scholarships. Also, another way to secure scholarships is if you finish in the top of your graduating class. So that's another thing that you can aspire to do, to actually be in that competition, or be in that pool of applicants and be competitive where securing these scholarships are concerned. All right, so the next thing is loans. I put this one last because this is the last one you want to consider. Last one. There are many videos on YouTube talking about student loan. I suggest you take a look at those. I will not do a video on this. It's best if you can finance your education with either work study or scholarships, or if someone can be so generous to help you. And don't think it's an entitlement for your parents to send you to um, to school. It's really a privilege. And so if you have a parent that is sending you, do show your appreciation by delivering on those grades, because it will make them happy and it will make you happy in the long run. All right, so we're going to be looking at some statistics. This was pulled on May 10th, 2021, from the um, US Bureau of Labor Statistics and Occupational Employment. You can see that right there at the bottom, right here. You can see that. All right, so these are average annual mean wage by typical entry level educational requirements. So going from the bottom, the mean for all occupation, regardless of education level, at the entry level, is actually around probably 51 or so thousand per year. All right, so you might be thinking this is not a lot, but it is. Some persons are thinking, oh, but the basketball players make many millions or whatever. Do know that the amount of persons making it to NFL or NBA or whatever sport it might be is not that much, right? It's a small population and there are certain requirements. You have to be exceptionally good. I'm not saying that you can't be good. I'm not saying that, but be realistic, right? Be realistic. Um, I'm not saying that everybody has to go to the PhD level or to the master's level, but the education that you get is good. And what I'm trying to emphasize is that you can make a responsible and you can make a comfortable living from your education, and a lot of people do. All right, so going next, you can see that if you just stop from if you just stop your education at the high school level, you can see the third from the bottom, high school diploma or equivalent, that's like GED. You are going to make around, maybe, what's that, you're gonna make around about 40,000 per year on average. And you see that's below average, right? So all occupation is roughly 52. So with just your high school education, on average now, this is the mean, right? So all of them are added together. That the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics add all those based on, I believe, their W-2 filings, and that kind of thing. And this is the mean, right? This is the mean. And so you would be a little bit below average, a lot below average, if you simply just get your high school education, right? Bear in mind. So I'm not saying that everyone have to take this path. Um, Earlier you saw that I'm also going to speak about um, trade and skill. So this is just a chart to show like what you might earn generally on average when you start out. All right, so skipping along, going up to the associate. This is like if you go to a 2-year college and you just did a program there that lasts for 2 years, you can look to make a roughly about 52,000 per year, from just having your associate. The bachelor take you up to about 75, a little bit over 75, maybe about that seem to be about 80,000 per year, and this is in America, and this is again considering a wide variety of discipline. Of course, your earning potential also depends on the area that you're in. Some occupation may be compensated higher because of the level of risk and responsibility and the amount of skill you have to or apply. All right, so masters see some it's actually less. We're not going to speak to why that is. You'll probably have to dig and find out that why. But remember, these are averages, right? And then for the doctoral degree, you see persons on average on entry level make a little bit over 125,000 per year. All right, so this is actually the annual mean average by typical entry level educational requirements. And this statistics is for May 2019. That was pulled again March 10, 2021. All right, so there you have the earning potential. You can pause the video and study that out a little bit and see what it is. And again, this is entry level. This is right after you leave college with this particular degree, and that's what you'll earn on average. All right, so those persons who are not wanting to to um, to go through the usual channel or the strongly pushed channel of university or college can certainly make a good livelihood by equipping themselves with a skill or a trade, right? A skill or a trade. This could be a wonderful path for many persons, right? For many persons. All right. So in this area, um, of course, you want to do something that is marketable again, and most of the skills are marketable. And I would also encourage you to, of course, make sure you is something that you enjoy doing, or at least like, or would be able to do. Wouldn't see yourself um, overly taxed, in terms of stress to do this particular thing, right? So you want to enjoy it. You want it to be also compatible with your skills and aptitude, and you want to develop this particular trade that you're going to go in, or skill, to a very high level. The higher the level you develop the skill, and you should certainly consider getting some kind of certification in that particular skill. Don't just settle with the lower qualification. Go ahead, certify yourself, and get the necessary certification for whatever skill or trade that you choose. All right, and so what would be very good is if you can actually shadow or follow or spend a life in the day of that particular profession. So what am I saying? If you want to be a carpenter, spend some time in the carpenter shop. Make some connection. Have someone network. Help get in the shop. Find some way to get in the shop, and with a professional to feel it out, to learn, and to see how this fit with your skill, your enjoyment, and that kind of thing, right? So you want to pair up with someone in the field. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.